Right, Amelia, Chef David from Buster Brown Bean Company. Wow, that was a fun piece. We took us back to high school. But
beyond the days of our brown paper bag wrapping and
Things
ripping magazine pages, yeah.
Things have evolved a little bit. All right, so today we are going to be making meatloaf.
Yes.
Your kids probably either love it or hate it, but they'll love this recipe, right?
My kids love it. So what we're going to do is we're going to start, we're going to caramelize some onions. I've done this on the show before. You got to kind of get this process going kind of quick and early.
Okay.
So that's why we're going to start right off by doing that. A little bit of onion, a little bit of garlic.
And while you're doing that, let's go over the ingredients.
Yes. So
multitasking.
Multitasking, yes. I can, believe it or not. Most men can, I guess, right? They say.
My husband, I don't know. He's not very good at it.
So we're gonna have some of we have homemade Buster Brown Bean Company breadcrumbs here. My coffee bourbon barbecue sauce. I'm gonna use a mix of pork and turkey. Now, obviously, the classic is done with veal, pork, and beef. I got some nice lean turkey here, and I'm going to mix it with some flavorful pork, because, you know, you kind of have to have a little bit of pork in everything, I feel like, personally. And then we'll be wrapping in a little bit of bacon, too, for some extra flavor.
Awesome.
So these onions that we're trying to caramelize here, we're going to salt and pepper them to kind of draw out some of the moisture and help the process along. A tip is basically you can kind of squirt these with a little bit of water and then cover them, and that steaming process will really speed along caramelizing the onions, because that really can take a while, and a lot of people are very intimidated to do that.
That's a great tip. And so they kind of, the color changes a little bit, and that's when you know when they're done? Or?
Yep, they'll be like a medium to dark, like golden brown color.
Okay, awesome. And so what other stuff do you have up here?
So what we're going to be doing is some of this stuff is for the second helping segment, so we can't totally go into that.
Okay.
But I have some naturally grown tomatoes. These were grown actually by a friend of mine in her backyard, Sharon Redfield from the Animal Hospital down in Fredonia. She's a good friend of mine, and she grows more tomatoes than I think the town could possibly need. And
some other fresh veggies there too. We'll talk more about those in just a second, but for now, we're going to send things on over to Emily Lenahan with your .com check. Welcome back on this Monday. We're with Chef David from the Buster Brown Bean Company making our meatloaf. What a great, I don't know, it reminds me of school, you know, after school dinner kind of meal.
Well, like you guys were mentioning, unfortunately, the summer is coming to a close, and the fall is upon us. So we're developing our fall menu, and this is something that we're considering adding on and turning it into a sandwich for leftovers. So that's what we'll be doing in the second helping segment.
Okay, so what are we doing right now?
What we're doing is we're building the meatloaf, basically. So I have our homemade croutons. We make them on site. We try not to waste anything at the restaurant, so we actually turn all of our bread scraps into our croutons.
Nice.
For our salads and whatnot. So we have some grain mustard, an egg. How much
breadcrumb do you want?
It's about a cup and a half, I think. And I did equal parts pork and ground turkey.
Okay.
A little bit of milk, add some moisture, some additional fat to help out. Yeah.
And probably when you mix it, there's a certain texture you're looking for, so you know that you have enough kind of like wet to.
Yeah, exactly.
Solid
and you want it to be
ingredients.
nice and moist, obviously. And meatloaf is one of those things you have to mix it and mix it and mix it and mix it. And when you think you've mixed it enough, you need to mix it again.
Okay. So you're not going to over mix it. It's not like you mash potatoes too much and they get way too starchy.
And they get starchy or something. No, that's probably not going to happen here. My gloves are like 10 times too big. There you go. So what we're going to do is, if you could possibly actually scrape those onions into here, because I almost forgot to put them in.
Okay.
These caramelized onions are going to go in. They're going to give us a nice sweet flavor.
They smell delicious.
And then what we're going to do is aside, because we're actually going to deglaze that and create a gravy out of it.
Yummy.
You can create your gravy out of chicken stock or deglaze with white wine. I think that's what I put in the recipe, but today I'm actually going to deglaze it with a beer. I use like a beer gravy.
Okay.
And another special tip that you can use is, if you're going to use white wine and chicken stock, to give it some body and some additional flavor and color, is instant coffee.
Ooh,
which is kind of like this age-old trick that a lot of people use.
Okay, so today we're deglazing with the Southern
2X
Tier
Stout,
2X Stout. Okay.
Southern Tier 2X Stout. So traditional meatloaf doesn't usually get made in a pan. Why dirty extra dishes? It's back to school. We're all busy. We're all tired, right?
Yes, absolutely.
We have a rule in our house, too, that if you cook, you don't have to clean.
Oh, nice. I like that rule.
Aren't I lucky?
Yes, you are lucky.
I don't know if it always works out.
You're cooking today. I'm not going to promise any cleaning, though. Okay, we're going to keep working on our meatloaf. We'll finish it coming up in the next segment. But now we're going to send things over to Matt. Hey, Matt. Well, we're with Chef David from the Buster Brown Bean Company making our meatloaf. It is smelling yummy in here.
It is.
Get us up to speed.
Nothing better than bacon and barbecue sauce in the oven.
Yeah, absolutely. So, especially at, you know, what, 9 a.m. in the morning?
Yeah, we're trying, right? So basically what we did to finish it off is I covered it with the coffee bourbon barbecue sauce, which I make at Buster Brown Bean Company. You can actually buy that on our website, busterbrownbean.com.
Okay.
You can pretty much buy anything on our website. If you don't see it there, call us. More than likely, I'll answer the phone, and you can have that shipped out to you. So then what I did is I added a little bit of grain mustard and some heavy cream.
Okay.
And a little bit of.
This is for our gravy.
Yep.
And we like deglaze with the 2X Stout Southern Tier.
Stout, which actually has lactose and like milk in it.
Oh, okay.
Like an actual dairy component to it. So we did that, and then we put it in the oven basically, the meatloaf, 350, 375 for about an hour or so. And come back with this delicious looking little piece of love.
So then you just put the bacon on top of it. Did you have to cook the bacon before, or it cooks over the hour in the oven, obviously?
It cooks over the hour in the oven.
Okay.
And I have our little side. I know that you love.
Ooh, that looks good.
There you go.
Some veggies. It looks like some breadcrumbs, right?
Yep. I just had, these are locally sourced zucchini, zucchini squash, so I, always try to support my local farmers. Everybody likes to make fun of me for going local, but it's something that's important to teach our children, actually.
Yes, it is. Now, talk to us about what's going on at Buster Brown Bean Company.
Well, we've had a really busy summer. We've actually been catering so much. I mean, summer's the crazy catering time of year. I want to give a shout out to the people over at Great Skate, if I'm allowed to, because they've been wonderful to us. They've been very supportive of us as a business, and I want to try to support their business. And if you're not, then please do, everybody. So we're going to slice this up.
Okay.
And
it looks delicious. I'm going to get a fork
now,
ready.
for the record, I know a lot of kids don't like to eat meatloaf, but my kids do.
Why do kids not like to eat meatloaf?
I don't know what that is, but my kids absolutely love this.
And your kid's not old enough to be going to school yet?
No, my kids actually go to a daycare center, but, look at that. Yummy.
You still get kind of busier during the school year, though.
Still get busy during the school year.
Yeah.
I mean, we live in a college town, our restaurant's in a college town, so they still have back to school.
Things start to pick up there.
We're all still really, really busy. So there we have it, folks.
That looks awesome. I'm going to take a bite. Is that okay?
Yes, absolutely, please.
It looks delicious. Now, is this on the menu at Buster Brown Bean Company?
We're thinking of putting it on the menu for the fall, so this is something you definitely might see. We serve it over a bed of truffle mashed potatoes.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, very nice, very good. And, there's some crunchy panko crumbs and Parmesan cheese on top of the veg. And then I also wanted to mention we do have a book signing and launch. It's a local Buffalo poet. I Speak in Tongues is her book. Her name is Lynn Szylski, I believe.
Okay.
It's a very difficult one for me to try to say.
She's going to be there.
She's going to be there on the 25th of this month at 7 o'clock. She'll do a live reading and sign her books at the bistro, so I wanted to give that a shout out as well.
Okay, what was that date again?
August 25th, 7 p.m.
Okay, so next weekend.
Yep, Saturday.
And I have to say that's delicious. I think it's the gravy on top that really adds a nice little
beer gravy.
touch to it.
Gotta love it. Like I said, I think in the recipe that I gave you guys at home online, I said use a wine, but you can, you can
mix
really
it
use
up.
anything you want.
Yeah,
I love using
creative.
beer, especially for something like meatloaf because it's so hearty.
Yes.
For the fall.
Okay, thank you so much, Chef David. We're going to be back in the kitchen in a little bit for our second helping, but we're going to send things into Matt's package right now. It's an important perk of heading back to school, getting healthy again, like we're doing today, mixing in some turkey with our meatloaf, right? Check it out.
We're back in the kitchen with Chef David from Buster Brown Bean Company. We are getting ready to start our second helping. And you said that this is one that you can actually send with the kids off to school.
Yeah, sure. We're going to eat it hot on set today. However,
you would just take away the melting process, right? To send it with them?
Do it the night before and they can still have it. So what we're going to do is I took fresh buffalo mozzarella and a couple slices of that and I put it into the broiler. And then I'm topping it with some fresh, local, all-natural cherry tomatoes that we did on...
I think your mic died, so I'm just going to kind of share with you here.
Fresh, local, naturally grown tomatoes, and we got some fresh, local, brought in by like a local company, some romaine, and my bread, which was made by my friend Mindy, down in Fredonia. She's one of the best bakers I know.
There is nothing better than fresh homemade bread.
Yes. All right, so we're going to take this and we are going to, look at that.
Oh my gosh,
it
looks so good.
Warm.
The meatloaf looks so good by itself, but honestly, this is That's really going to do it for me.
The gooey cheese thing.
Oh my gosh,
going on, right? Got a plate.
So while you're cutting that up, we're going to bring Matt and Amelia in so they can try it too.
All right. Ooh.
Awesome. And so, you know, any tips that you would give viewers if they're making meatloaf?
Make sure you add an egg, because that helps pull it together. Make sure you add your breadcrumbs. Again, that's going to help pull it together and give it body. And make sure that it doesn't fall apart on you. Basically, that's really what you don't want to do that. I always use some type of sweet ingredient, like caramelized onions, the ketchup on the top, the barbecue sauce on the top. I've even used marmalades, like orange and blueberry or whatever it is.
Ooh,
I mean, whatever you kind of want to do to kind of take something that's very traditional and kind of has a negative connotation to it. Like everybody's like, oh, it's meatloaf night at the house, but it doesn't have to be that way. Just spruce it up and make it fun. Do a beer gravy or whatever it is. It kind of.
And your kids love meatloaf, so
my kids
it's
love
not impossible.
meatloaf. My kids love everything, but my kids love meatloaf.
The squash and the zucchini were amazing.
Chef David, thank you so much as always for being here today. You can always find Chef David on Twitter. Coming up tomorrow, as always, we're going to have a